GHGs stands for greenhouse gases. ग्रीनहाउस के एमिशंस इतने ज्यादा बढ़ चुके हैं अब कि हर कंट्री को इसको Hello students, welcome back to Paathshala classes. This is Shashwat Dubey, one of the faculty members of Paathshala classes, and today we are going to discuss a very important news that has come up now as to the UN summit of 2024. Now what is this particular UN summit all about? We are going to discuss in the forthcoming slides. Please do stay connected throughout because this is a very important lecture for your current affairs section in CLAT and AILET 2024. So let's begin. The COP29, the Crucial Climate Summit, has been organized in Baku, which is at Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is the country and Baku is the place where this particular summit was organized. It is the 29th UN Climate Summit. Please note, Climate Summit, which was entitled COP29. It kicked off in Baku, Azerbaijan on, this is the date, November 11, 2024, with discussions to set to focus on vital climate finance mechanisms. Number 1, aim and objective क्या था? To finance climate mechanisms, particularly the new collective quantified goal that is abbreviated as NCQG. ये एक पॉलिसी है जो ये पूरे के पूरे समिट में ड्राफ्ट किया गया है by deliberations and discussions with regard to the climate summit. After that, this summit running until November 2022 from November 11 to November 2022, this particular summit was organized. Also that it aims to address urgent global climate issues and secure financial commitments to assist developing nations in combating the devastating effects of climate change that we can feel, everybody can feel right now, caused largely by greenhouse gas emissions, that is GHCs. Also that COP29 has been dubbed the Finance COP due to its central focus on financial strategies, including a push for greater funding commitments and the role of the private sector in driving climate action. GHGs stands for greenhouse gases. ग्रीनहाउस के एमिशंस इतने ज्यादा बढ़ चुके हैं अब कि हर कंट्री को इसको कॉम्बैट करने के लिए इनिशिएटिव लेना चाहिए. In regard to this whole summit was organized from November 11, which went up to November 2022. November 2022, which means it is running currently and it will end on November 2022. November 22. Sorry. COP29 has dubbed the Finance COP. Please note, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है. पहली चीज. दूसरी चीज, एनसीक्यूजी का एब्रीविएटेड फॉर्म है. क्या है एब्रीविएटेड फॉर्म? देख लीजिएगा, न्यू कलेक्टिव क्वांटिफाइड गोल. दो चीज प्लीज नोट ऑल्सो दैट दिस इज अ क्लाइमेट समिट and it is a 29th UN summit. Date देख लीजिएगा. Moving ahead, financial commitments and global cooperation. COP29's key agenda is to secure agreements on climate finance, addressing the historic failure to meet previous funding targets. In the year 2009, developed countries pledged for $100 billion annually for addressing climate issues. this finance at COP15 in Copenhagen, but this particular commitment has not been fully realized as of yet. जितने भी एलोकेशंस हुए, बजटरी एलोकेशंस हुए थे, वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट और जो भी थी बाकी कंट्रीज के, अभी तक वो यूटिलाइजेशन में नहीं आया है. दैट हैज बीन मेयर लेटर ऑन पेपर. However, this year the focus is on achieving a substantial increase in funding in order to support developing nations transitioning to clean energy and building resilience to climate impacts. However, critics question as to who should contribute and how wealthy countries can be held accountable for their promises. This summit also aims to expand adaptation finance to enhance climate resilience in vulnerable countries. Lastly, the role of carbon markets and emission targets. Carbon markets जो हैं across globe speaking, because nationally, internationally there are many carbon markets, and the emission of greenhouse gases and many other which has got a significant devastating impact on the environment all in all. तो इसको combat करने के लिए क्या क्या चीजें इनिशिएटिव ली गई. A critical issue for COP29 is the progress on carbon markets, especially on whether nations can use carbon trading systems in order to meet their emission reduction targets under the Paris Agreement. It also talks on this topic have stalled for years, but some analysts view advancements on carbon trading as an essential requisite for accelerating the global shift from fossil fuels. Another significant milestone will be the announcement of, please note, please do focus. Another significant milestone will be the announcement of updated national emission reduction goals with countries like Brazil, England, and the UAE, which is set to announce new targets during the summit. Moving ahead, the geopolitical challenges and the Trump factor. You know that Trump has now succeeded in the election, and now he is the president of USA. Again, USA is going to witness the new president as Donald Trump again. Now, what is the impact on the whole geopolitical setup after this particular policy that is being talked about, and the Donald Trump factor which is going to affect and impact globally, right? One by one we'll see. The COP29 talks are clouded by geopolitical tensions, especially with the re-election of US President Mr. Donald Trump, who has been a climate change skeptic. His administration's stance on climate action will likely affect global cooperation at the summit. Additionally, ongoing global conflicts such as the war in Ukraine and the situation in Gaza present further hurdles to achieving international climate agreements. Also, that Azerbaijan has called for a truce. Truce means peace. A peace call to help focus on climate solutions during the conference. The road ahead. Now, what is the future impact or significance of this particular summit that is going to affect the nations internationally? COP29 represents a final opportunity for nations in order to set their emission reduction targets before the February 2025 deadline that has been set, with climate impacts intensifying and the need for bold action as against greater. The summit's outcome could determine the future trajectory of global climate efforts. Also, that Despite the challenges, COP29 is an essential step towards securing the international cooperation necessary to mitigate the climate crisis. Let's see how much this particular policy called COP29, this particular summit, is going to succeed in the policies and undertakings that this summit is talking about. Rest, thank you so much for connecting with us. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel of Paathshala Classes for regular updates. Also, you can subscribe to the Telegram channel of Paathshala Classes for getting e-materials for your easy preparation in CLAT or AILET 2024. Thank you so much.